The proposal for the Prime Minister arrived like a quiet storm, carried not on the wings of fanfare, but on the weight of expectation and the scrutiny of an entire nation. Behind polished documents and carefully worded paragraphs lay a contest of influence, where every clause, every phrase was loaded with political intent. The Prime Minister was no stranger to power plays, yet even he felt the subtle pressure that comes from knowing that the contents of this proposal could alter alliances, shift priorities, and determine who would hold the upper hand in a government teetering on the edge of public scrutiny. The first draft outlined a series of reforms, couched in the language of efficiency and accountability. Yet beneath the formal tone, it carried a quiet demand for loyalty. It suggested changes to administrative procedures, subtle adjustments to authority lines, and mechanisms for oversight that would, in practice, shift power subtly toward certain factions. Those presenting it were meticulous, aware that even the smallest oversight could undo their intentions. Every paragraph was rehearsed, every example anticipated, and every potential objection preemptively countered. Opposing voices, however, saw the proposal as a direct challenge. They feared that if the Prime Minister accepted it, he would be conceding influence, allowing rivals to shape policy under the guise of modernization. They argued that the proposal, while cloaked in civility, masked strategic maneuvers designed to disrupt established hierarchies. The debate became more than procedural. It became a contest of vision. Was the government to move toward transparency and reform, or would tradition, seniority, and political survival dominate the decision-making process? When the Prime Minister finally convened the meeting to discuss the proposal, the room hummed with tension. Advisors leaned forward, glancing at one another for signs of consensus, while the architects of the proposal watched carefully for his reactions. Every question he asked was deliberate, every pause measured, as though weighing not just the merits of the text but the potential ripple effects that could extend through cabinet, party, and public opinion. It became clear that this was not merely a matter of policy. It was a test of authority, perception, and strategic patience. Even as discussions continued, whispers of influence and pressure filtered into the room from outside the official circle. Media speculation, public opinion, and quiet lobbying all converged to form an invisible current tugging at the Prime Minister's decision. Each faction sensed that timing was critical. Act too quickly, and the proposal could backfire. Wait too long, and momentum could shift in favor of the opposition. The Prime Minister's challenge was not simply to approve or reject. It was to navigate a labyrinth of political currents without destabilizing the delicate balance he had worked to maintain. By the time a preliminary response was delivered, the stakes had already escalated beyond the immediate proposal. Advisors noted the subtle shifts in tone, the unspoken compromises, and the careful framing of agreements. It was not a simple yes or no. It was a negotiation with the weight of political survival, legacy, and national scrutiny hanging in the balance. Every decision emanated outward, hinting at future moves, possible alliances, and the latent power struggles that would inevitably follow. Ultimately, the proposal for the Prime Minister was more than a document. It was a mirror reflecting the ambitions, fears, and strategies of those who drafted it. Its acceptance or rejection would not merely affect procedures. It would signal shifts in influence, test loyalties, and quietly reshape the contours of governance. And in the quiet moments after the meeting ended, even as papers were collected and doors closed, the unspoken truth remained. In politics, the proposal is never just a proposal. It is a declaration, a challenge, and a calculated move in a game with stakes far higher than any single document could capture.